So, on this day, about 246 years ago, America, a complete underdog, decided to do something revolutionary. We decided to go against the powers and the governments that be, declare our independence, and not just declare independence on a document, but fully embrace the pre existing rights that God had given us long before the Constitution, long before the Declaration of Independence. But since the inception of man, God has given us these rights. We find these rights to be inalienable. We decided to take a stand for what is right at the crossroads of our country. At a time of extreme stress, difficulty, and vulnerability, America chose to do the right thing, even though we were the underdog, even though less than 40% of the country wanted to go to war, even though only around 20% of the country would eventually go to war, pick up arms, and go to war with us. America chose what is right over vanity. And I wanted to do this video today because I think a part of the American spirit that was established back in 1776 is that resolve within mankind to do what is right at the most important crossroads in life. And doing what is right is largely about how you see the situation. Essentially, can you take your eyes off of yourself long enough to see the possibility of greater good? About 8 or 9 years ago, I was personally faced with a very, very similar situation. I found myself alone in the ICU of Children's Hospital in downtown Dallas. It was me and my boy Zeke. He was literally fighting for his life because just a few days before I had revived him back to life through CPR. And as we were in that hospital, in 1 week became 2 weeks, became 3 weeks, became 4 weeks. My boy was in an extremely serious state. He had probably not been breathing for 5 or 8 minutes or so, and which he suffered a very serious brain injury through all that, and we were trying to help him stay alive while his brain was going through the damage and then the healing process. And I remember feeling so alone in that time, even though I did have a few family and friends that came by. But I remember feeling as if I was on the other side of the planet and people were going about their normal lives, normal conversations, having, meals and going to sleep and saying jokes and having conversations about, hey, how was your day? And here I was 24/7 giving medicines through an IV, wiping up vomit and feces from the boy that I loved, giving him massages for hours a day to keep the blood circulating in his body. And most importantly, so he knew his daddy was always right there for him. So at this crazy crossroads moment of my life, I remember the door sliding open one morning, and it was a girl that I had never seen before. And she had a guitar, and one of the nurses said, hey, this girl wants to know if she can play a song for Zeke, and she has come here. She's been trying to come here for a few weeks now, and but she finally was able to get a ride here, and she specifically wanted to come and play a song for Zeke. And so I was a little taken back by it. I didn't understand what was going on, but I said, sure, have her come in. So she came in, and I could tell right away there was something wrong with her. She never wanted to look at me. She stuttered a lot, and she seemed like she definitely had a self-confidence problem. So I was kind of wondering, how good could you play the guitar? And so she told me what she did. And essentially, she was the victim of a really brutal gang rape. She couldn't have children anymore. She had trouble speaking after that. She had a lot of trauma in public, even talking to people or looking anybody in the eye. And she essentially said that she quit all of her jobs like Walmart and things like that because she just could not deal with the public in any way. And so I remember this young girl that probably was about 19 or 20 looking at me and me looking at her, and us both realizing we were two completely desperate people, both at a crossroads in our lives, but somehow both willing to see beyond our pain, to see beyond the vanities of the world and what people would call success or good looks or all those kind of things. And we both somehow found our little unique way of giving back into the world and making the world truly a better place. So she played a song for Zeke. I believe she played Amazing Grace. And I mean, I sat there in the back of the room and I literally bawled for the entire song. I could not believe how beautiful it was, how beautiful she sung. It was just an amazing blessing. So when she was done, I just said, thank you so much. And I was so in awe by how much she had just blessed me. I didn't even know what to say. Like I had never been blessed from just out of the blue like that, because I didn't expect anything great to happen. I just didn't know how well she sung or whatever. I didn't know what was going to happen. But as she walked out, I realized something. I realized she felt like an outcast and I felt like an outcast. I realized she had things that she felt like had held her back in life. And I had things that I felt like were holding me back in life. But both of us were willing to look beyond those things, to find the resolve to see other people's pain and to reach out and help someone. And I remember thinking, to seek someone out like that, like she did for us, and to try to, I mean, it's almost like she was trying to find someone who was in a worse situation than her because she knew she could lift us up in her own unique way. That is the essence of goodness. That is the essence of religion. I mean, some people can find it in their heart to send a text a time or two a day throughout all those times. But some people, in those most difficult moments, in those crossroad moments of life, when life's biggest outcomes are truly decided, they find it in their heart to do the right thing, even if it's risky, even if it's painful, even if it's an inconvenience, even if it costs them something significant. And even if they think this may not work or they might fail, they find that courage deep within them to not be a person who keeps up with the Joneses, who finds satisfaction in mediocrity, or someone who looks at all the excuses of why you can't, shouldn't, are not qualified to be the person to do this. Folks, this is the spirit of America. This is what we should be talking about on this 4th of July. And this is the message I wanted to share with you today. The more you go through life, you will find out that your life is ultimately defined by if you can find goodness and courage in your heart during life's most precious crossroads. God bless every single one of you and your families, and God bless the United States of America.